If you're looking for a way to get your office and your office supplies tidied up, I'm going to show you why I think that this printer stand would be the perfect fit for you. Before I do that, I do want to show you how you're going to receive this product, the different hardware that you have, and some of the specifics on how to use some of the hardware. So let's get into that first. So here's all your hardware along with your legs, casters, power cable, and your handles. Then here's all the shelving to put it together, and everything is individually labeled, so it's easier to put it together. One thing I do want to make note of is this is not discolored, it is just a little bit of frost from the temperature change of coming inside. First thing I want to show you is with these two pre-drilled holes, it looks like the screw should go in the bigger hole. However, follow the instructions carefully and place it into the correct hole. With this, you want to be careful not to over tighten that screw. You just want it flush with the shelving. Next, these wooden pieces are called your dowels. They're just going to slide right into the pre-drilled holes, and then those two pieces are going to line up with the other pre-drilled holes on the other shelf. If you look closely, you will see the screw come through this hole here. That is when you are going to use this mini fix. The way you're going to use that is just put it into the hole, use your flathead screwdriver, and twist until it is tight. What that does is it grabs onto the screw, pulls it in, and it tightens it and pretty much secures the shelf together so it cannot come apart. Here you see we're doing the same thing, lining it up, pushing it in, and using those mini fixes to get it secured, allowing you to now slide in this thinner piece, which is going to end up being the back of your stand. One assembly tip that I have is if you have a power drill, use it, but be very careful. If you use the provided tools, your assembly time is going to be much longer, and using a power tool is going to speed up the process. Again, just be very careful if you choose to do so. This piece here is going to be your leg stand. There is 4 of them, and then there is a foot piece that you can screw onto the bottom of that. These little metal pieces right here very easily slide into these pre-drilled holes. That is going to hold some of your shelving, allowing the shelves to be removable. Here are your casters. You do want to make sure that you match them on both sides because one set of the casters do have a locking mechanism and you don't really want those mismatched, so like I said, just make sure that the ones that have the locks are on the same side. They do provide you with stickers as well to put over the mini fixes so it's not as noticeable. Be sure to not cover these holes here because those are your shelf adjusters, so you can remove the pegs that they are sitting on and adjust it to a lower or higher height. This slot here is for your power cable. Just push the cord through and screw it into place. Bar number 14 is the bar going through the middle. One thing you want to make sure of is that when you install this bar, this hole in the middle is facing up and down, not on the sides. Next, you have these little plastic pieces. The way you're going to install those is to slide them into the crack in the corners. There's going to be 4 of them. Put your screw in at an angle and screw it in and it will secure itself. When you're done, it will look something like this. So now that I've shown you all of that, the assembly process for me took a while, probably about 2.5 hours. Not because it was complicated, but because there's so many steps and so many pieces to put together. But like I said, it wasn't complicated and everything went together as it should. So fully assembled, this is what you have, a super sturdy stand. Starting out at the top, you have this shelf with a bar underneath to help support the weight that you put on it. The weight limit for the top shelf is going to be 60 pounds. Moving down to this shelf here, this is where you would probably want your printer, but the weight limit for the second shelf is going to be 60 pounds as well. On this shelf, you do have a reinforced back so nothing can slide off, especially your printers, fax machines, scanners, anything like that. Your expensive machines that you don't want falling off the back, you have that reinforced part right there so that doesn't happen. On the second shelf as well is where your outlets are going to be. So you have 2 AC ports and you have 2 USB ports powered by your 5-foot power cord. I really like that feature because instead of having to be right next to a wall outlet, you're able to plug in your printers, your paper shredders, all right here in the stand. As you can see here, I do have my paper shredder plugged in from the stand itself, which is super nice. Moving on, we have a little cubby hole here that you can place extra papers in or your printer paper in, so it's super easy to just grab papers from here and refill your printer. There is a little bit less of a weight limit on this shelf here, which is just going to be 40 pounds. Moving on to this shelf here, this shelf is adjustable, super simple, like I mentioned, just to pull out those little pegs and place them in the other pre-drilled holes. If you want these portions to be different sizes, this does have another weight limit of 40 pounds, and then you have this bottom one that is going to be 60 pounds. Then moving on to this this last portion here is this little slide out shelf. This shelf is 60 pounds as well, and it's not connected to anything, it just slides under the shelf. On this piece, of course, they are on casters, and if you want to lock those into place for them to be stationary, you did see in the installation process that the front two wheels do have locks, so you can lock them into place. This shelf right here is also removable, so if you have a taller paper shredder, you can take this out, take out the pegs, and then use those little black stickers to cover up those holes, like I said, if you don't want this shelf in there. They do provide you with hardware to mount this to a wall so it can't tip anywhere, but in my opinion, I don't think you even need to use those. It does depend on if your floor is level or not, but this is an extremely sturdy shelf, and I don't think we're going to have any issues with this tipping over without it being mounted to the wall. So that's pretty much everything about this stand. I really like it. I think it's going to tidy up your office space and make it look a lot neater. And I also like that it gives you options with the shelves. It gives you the option to remove this one, and it also gives you the option to make this one higher or lower depending on what your needs are for your office supplies. So I've been given this shelf in order to give you enough information to help you better decide if this is the shelf for you. I hope this review helped you out, and if you do decide to purchase this shelf, I don't think you'll be disappointed, and it's going to make your office look great.